Hi, welcome to Verse of the Day. My name is Brandon Hathaway. I'm the preacher at the Westside Church of Christ in Owensboro, Kentucky. I want to thank you for joining me today as we open up the Bible and study the Word of God. Today we are in Acts chapter 9. Acts chapter 9 is where we're at, and I'm going to be looking at verses 20 through 23. Verse 20 through 23, if you will follow along with me. It says, "To the Jews I became a Jew, in order to win the Jews. To those under the law I became as one under the law, though not being myself under the law, that I might win those under the law. To those outside of the law I became as one outside the law, not being outside of the law of God, but under the law of Christ, that I might win those outside the law. To the weak I became weak, that I might win the weak. I have become all things to all people, that by all means I might save some. I do it all for the sake of the gospel, that I may share with them in its blessings." Here Paul goes to tell us a little bit of how far he's willing to go to share the Word of God, how far he's willing to go to try to help others see the truth. Because when we sit down and think about it, we receive the Word of God better from those who are like us. Whatever that means. From you're raised up in a similar way that you were, or raised in the same area that you were, or as he's bringing out, whether it's you hear from the poor because you are poor, you hear from the rich because you are rich, you hear from the weak because you are weak, or the strong because you are strong. We listen to similar people, and so Paul's saying, "I become all things to all people." As much as he can, he gets on their level so that they will receive him and listen to his words. And of course, in all things, he's continuously preaching the gospel. The message is the same to whoever he's talking to, but he may change his tactics to each person that he comes across and teaching the Word of God, because everybody has to have a different way in which they hear it. Some need to hear the preaching of fire and hell and brimstone to scare them and truly put some fear of God into them to make them turn. Some people need to hear about the riches and greatness of heaven so that they can see the joy that they could have if they put their faith in God and have a goal, a prize to reach for. Some just, they need to hear the teachings of Christ and motivation to hear of the sacrifice that he had made and the love that God has. For each person, it may be something a little different that seed first sprouts into to get them to truly dig into the Word of God, to seek the truth, to lead to their obedience in God. And again, it's all the same message. It's all in the Bible. It's all leading to the same thing, as long as we don't change the Word of God, right? Get caught up in saying it's all the same message, but then we change some of the words of God. We change what he says you have to do. He doesn't change that. He doesn't change the commands that God has given us. He doesn't change any of the teachings that Jesus had taught, or any of the life of Christ that he had lived. We don't get to alter anything, but just the way in which we present it to bring it to them, to start off, and then leading them in a way that they will understand it and receive it. So anyways, I want to thank you for joining me. I hope everybody has a blessed day today, and if the Lord is willing, I'll talk to you later.